Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are back again with Pharma Talks, and we have a very interesting topic prepared to you. Today, we will be discussing the human side of pharma change management, and we have an amazing guest in our studio. Please welcome Cecilia Baeza Castro. She is a marketeer by background, an expert in change management, and a head of change management department and digital transformation in Viseven. Cecilia, welcome to the stage. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, hello everyone. Yes, this is great to be here. Thank you for that introduction. That's right. I am a marketeer in my background, and just genuinely have been working on how do we bring and enable technology integrates new processes in organizations. And there has been a lot of learnings and challenges throughout the way, and I'm here more to bring this to our audience. So happy to be here to share.
Absolutely amazing. So, and the first question we would like to discuss actually, why is there a resistance to change in pharma? Even we have very solid strategy in place. Why is it happening?
I think this is one of the biggest questions we have. And I think it's first good to start from what do we mean by a solid strategy? So I will be starting from the ground in which we have a strategy that integrates how we are preparing the organization for the change. We are including a training and education plan in place, as well as a stage of support, not only including technology support, but also business support and hypercare. So let's note that here I'm not talking only about when we have a training plan in place, which we have seen that to be also a trend in the industry, only focusing on that. So let's start from that perspective. We have actually a comprehensive plan. Um, and the reasons are actually mostly unspoken. Those are the ones that you won't find on a feedback form or when you have an open forum with, um, let's say, 20 countries at the same time and a variety of stakeholders. But if we can go through it, it's mostly concerns and questions that are connected to I am not familiar with the tool and with the new processes, and then they start to question or think through disruption habits, even if they are looking at the outcome that it's going to bring them and what it brings to the organization, competitiveness, efficiency. They see that they have already cracked the system. They already have a way of working that, even if not perfect, they have made it work for them. So they might think they might need to rebuild it. Mhm.
If I may, do you mean that these silos inside the organization, like inside global pharma companies, are built around functions, geographies, brands, processes? These silos make it actually difficult to align on priorities, and we really can be blocked even to implement standard omni-channel process, standard things connected to MarTech and technology. Is this the main thing, this siloed organization?
I believe that it makes a big influence, right? Because in those when we're talking about our initiatives, they are actually powered by cross-functional collaboration, right? It is no longer only our brand managers along with some of the omni-channel experts, but there is marketing IT, there is CRM admins, there are many, and of course there are partners, there are agencies, all of that ecosystem. And if the new process calling for transparency, visibility, and much more stronger collaboration, there is a sequence in the planning and the execution. When we have, I was mentioning like disruption of habits, right? If I'm already only in this element and there is no that cohesiveness, it's much more difficult to achieve those results.
Oh, I do understand that. And we need to make sure like we never forget that regulatory and compliance pressure makes it also not easy. And like we are all with, while working with pharma companies are operating under the strict compliance rules. And then we must be cautious that every change, especially in communication or technology, carries these regulatory implications. That's why being the vendor and the agency in the pharma world, it makes it double difficult to change. And it's always there is a mindset better safe than sorry. So
Yeah.
this type of mindset might be also very much harmful to the change. Take building on that, how do you
Mhm.
ensure that stakeholders from physicians to sales teams understand the urgency and benefits of change?
Yeah, that one it's very important for us, and typically we see this as a stakeholder matrix, right? And then we see what is in it on in it for all of these stakeholders. And it is very important to deliver that message not only from the standpoint of their function, but how that will be meaningful to their HCPs at the same time. You know, what is this goal, as what are we achieving as an organization, what I am achieving, and what would this mean, for our HCPs and their patients. When it comes to what is it in it for me, we see that it's very important to talk to have a dedicated talk on a space for those groups, for those stakeholder groups. Very often we see how. In order to make it easy and perhaps faster, we want to address all of them at the same time. And yes, that it's very important to come at the stage of a kickoff. But before, it's important to be able to hear them individually and to hear what questions they have and even what ideas they would like to help and support and build in that new system. We very often encounter that when our stakeholders feel empowered and have a sense of ownership of the change that is there to come, there is not just anticipation, right? But there is also a skin on the game. They want to see it succeed. So they are also willing to share more about it, and that foster a cultures of advocacy. It's no longer just us telling them this is where you need to go. You are going to be able to achieve X, Y, or Z, but they are actually hearing from their peers, and you are very more likely to hear, right, Natalia, from another CEO than from another person just telling you like this is how it's gonna go for you.
Exactly. I think like one of the also another crucial point when we are talking about this personal level of the interest, sometimes lack of personal incentives can play a very bad trick. And this is like if there is no direct incentive for local or brand level teams to adopt global standards or the new tools, and without aligning transformation for their specific KPIs, which are belonging to them, it doesn't make our task easier. And that means like we must align these personal incentives with the change we are pursuing. And this change we are doing must make sure that the personal KPIs are easier to achieve. They are really easier to achieve through their daily works. So that's I think the important thing we need to stress, that this personal incentives level, they need to be aligned with the change. And uh, a part of that, what are the biggest challenges when moving from pilot phases to full scale adoption, and how can pharma companies avoid getting stuck? We know many elements which can lead us in very dark place. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, this is actually a very interesting element for us to make progress and move forward on when we're working in and partnering right with our clients, with our stakeholders. So one of the biggest challenges is actually our mindset, or our stakeholders' mindset when they come into the pilot phase. Am I only looking at building a process and a system that is only going to work for those 5 countries and that one brand that I have selected. How can we work through this preparation phase? Because the technology is going under some preparation. On the other side, we're preparing people as well. We're preparing them to receive the process. And we do this from the lens of a lot of experimentation, but we want to make sure that we are achieving that vision, correct? So we typically encourage our stakeholders and our own teams as well as look, okay, as we're looking at this new briefing process, to give a very practical example, will this be applicable and scalable if we have more agency partners coming into place?
Yeah.
If we have different maturity levels across brands, and also bringing a diversity in the markets that we are building in. We all know that some smaller markets, have a different setup or different capabilities that they will have in the bigger ones. And all of that comes into play. So if from the beginning and when we are looking through the pilot phases, we are already, even working through the data, having our DAM organized, not only for those 5 markets, perhaps sometimes we have 2, sometimes we have 20 to begin, right? It begins, depends on the size of the organization. But if we are already putting or preparing a process in line that will also be able to serve or initiate the process for what it is up there on that scale up phase, we already have a foot forward when it comes to the scale up phase. So we don't have to restart. We don't have to repilot in a way to be able to bring them on board. But the pilot will bring us enough learnings and momentum so that we can take that vision to the next step.
It's where strategy often outpaces the execution, right? And how we help to bridge this technology implementation gap is that what you are saying, there could be, we can have a visionary omni-channel roadmap, but if we don't pair it with the right platforms, partners, training, and change management, it stalls. This is where Viseven and the partners like Viseven often step in. So, like we do turn strategy into scalable execution, bridging the gap between vision and value, and making sure there is no change fatigue, because transformation projects, they come and go. We need to bring the tangible, quick wins and value early in the process. Even very well designed strategy can be met with a high level of skepticism or passive resistance if we do not show the result quick enough.
That's actually a key word in there, Natalia, value realization. How long is it taking for our end users and our people to realize that they are actually that the perceived risk that they might have, what we were talking at the beginning about resistance, that is actually minor compared to the value that they will have in hand. So I encourage all of us, myself here in V7, but also our peers, and the organizations that we work with, to think through how long does it actually take for our stakeholders to get that first sign of value realization. The quicker it is, the better we can confirm that all of what we have been working throughout the strategy is actually meeting the vision we have in place.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Resistant isn't emotional, it is very often rational. So, the key thing, we need to design a change which is scalable, compliant, aligned with reality, and delivered with real enablement. So, thank you so much, Cecilia, for being with us. Thank you, who was watching, listening to our podcast. It was an episode dedicated to change management, and there will be much more to talk about. Please stay with us, or go to viseven.com to see more topics, and we are happy to stay with you and be relevant. Thank you.